OTV Foresight 2022 changing times, changing minds. ଏବେ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିବା ଆମର ପରବର୍ତ୍ତୀ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟାୟରେ ଆମ ସହିତ ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ରହିବେ Gopal Krishna GSS, country head market function and product group head at TCS Iron. I would request him to join us, but before that, we have AV. I will request our technical team if they can play that AV. Then Mr. Gopal Krishna GSS will join us on the stage.
Can we have the AV, please?
Gopal Krishna GSS, Market Function एवं Product Group Head, TCS Iron. वाणिज्य और व्यवसाय क्षेत्र में एक चर्चित और बेस जनाशुना नाम। व्यवसाय और वाणिज्य परिचालना क्षेत्र में तांकर रहिछि एक लंबा अभिज्ञता। 27 वर्षर कार्यकाल भितरे बिजनेस, सेल्स एवं मार्केटिंग, प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट, कंसल्टेंसी, शिक्षा, व्यवसाय इत्यादि विभिन्न क्षेत्र में कार्य करी निजर दक्षता प्रदर्शन करिबारे सफल होइछन्ती गोपाल कृष्णा। टाटा कंसल्टेंसी सर्विसेज पूर्वरु से विलियमसन एंड मागुर ग्रुप, करियर कॉर्पोरेशन एवं वोल्टास लिमिटेड रे कार्य करछन्ती। व्यवसाय वाणिज्य संपर्कित अनेक उच्च कोटिर लेखा तांको भिन्न एक परिचय मध्य देछि। बिरला इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी एंड साइंस बा बिट्स पिलानीरु से एमटेक डिग्री हासिल करछन्ती। तेबे ओडिशा सहित रहिछि तांकर एक मधुर और सुदृढ़ संपर्क। भुवनेश्वर स्थित जावियर इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट रु से एमबीए डिग्री हासिल करछन्ती। तांकर निष्ठा और अभिज्ञता एवं दक्षता पई से अनेक अनुष्ठान द्वारा पुरस्कृत और सम्मानित मध्य होइछन्ती।
It's very surprising to see these photographs from where you people have got it. But it's really gives me a great honor to come to this Bhubaneswar once again, so which I spent a couple of years, say 22 years back. And I must thank Ms. Jaggi Panda and OTV for giving me this opportunity to speak on this Foresight annual convention, which is organized, where wisdom and experience meet. Distinguished speakers and respected guests, it is indeed a great privilege and honor for me to keynote speaker amongst the August gathering. At the outset, I wish to extend my gratitude to our health workers, central and state governments, media and civil society for their humongous contribution in containing the havoc that COVID-19 pandemic brought in its wake. Precious lives were sadly lost, livelihoods were largely impaired, thus alerting us to value health, environment, near and dear ones, which we so often take it for granted. The pandemic also brought forth to us, the world citizens, some stark realities and pleasant discoveries. We now know the limitation of mindless expansion and exploitation of nature, as well as the power of technology and the value of being with our loved ones. In effect, the pandemic has left us with a completely different world, with tightened global financial market conditions, behavioral changes, and altered consumption patterns. This pandemic did not just stress our system globally, but also exposed the existing gaps to our systems, forcing all of us to identify the loopholes, thereby regroup, reform, and reinvent ourselves. As an outcome of this pandemic, India has emerged as a world leader in the new world order. By the end of financial year, India officially will become the world's fifth largest economy, overtaking Britain. Germany at fourth position, Japan at third position are within the striking distances. According to several global financial institutions, India's GDP will be the world's third largest by the end of this decade. London-based IHS Markit, a global leader in analytics, projected India's GDP at $8.4 trillion by 2030. India will play a pivotal role in the world affairs. In fact, I must summarize by my opinion about future India in the form of a famous ad jingle. बुलंद भारत की बुलंद तस्वीर, ना सिर्फ टाटा, अंबानी, अडानी, बिरला, बजाज, it's also you and me. Our Honorable Prime Minister has also urged Indians to help make the country a global leader in the post-pandemic world. During one of his speeches in Parliament, he said, quote, "We are living in a new world order. There has been a new turning point after pandemic. We are being recognized as leaders. India must take on the global leadership role and underestimate itself in playing the leadership role," unquote. India has already proved its mettle in several critical sectors in the world economy. All of us, we know that IT and IT-enabled services has been the strong drivers of the Indian service sectors. Our reputation as the pharmacy of the world and the source of low-cost generics and drugs is not unknown. Agri-based food processing, textiles, automobiles, electronics are some of the fastest growing industries in our economy. Name any sector of the economy, it's on a high growth path. In fact, last evening I was going through some article where they say in last 5 to 6 months in India, bicycle sales has been doubled. So it shows that, how conscious we become about our health, global issues, and which also is giving a boost to the economy in the other sectors. With the theme and thought leadership that this distinguished forum presents, we should take this opportunity to take a step back and ponder on the strengths that gave us the laurels in the new world order and the areas which we need to focus in order to take us in the winning league. Now, who are the winners in the new world order? Where smart innovation in every sphere of life take us a pleasant surprise. In my humble opinion, they are the ones who have humility to unlearn the old and courage to learn the new, irrespective of age or hierarchy. Winners are also the ones who have invested in upskilling and meticulous research and innovation instead of rote learning and mindless job schedules. I take pride in sharing with you that TCS ION, the organization, the unit which I belong from, which has created multiple innovations in bringing digitization of assessments, evaluations, business processes, and learning in the country. India has the potential to emerge as the preferred destination for higher learning and skill building. With the internet penetration rate estimated to reach above 55% by the end of 2025 in India, digitization of education remains one of the topmost priorities. Many e-learning portals have appeared and are performing well as an increasing number of learners enrolls themselves for online courses. I can think about a recent example which I can give, that University Grant Commission has already approved and allowed higher educational institution to start the online courses, the degree and diploma courses, which again gives a very big boost on the learning aspect, certification aspect, and education aspect, and the literacy aspect in this country. Now we come to the disadvantage of the new world order. Unfortunately, with a history of wars and conflicts, exploitation and other natural factors, we do have disparity in terms of access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities for the disadvantaged. And if the disadvantaged are not empowered and included, the winners shall not be truly winners. But I do insist that digital technology presents thoughtful and powerful solution to overcome these disparities, which was not possible in the old world. But notwithstanding that, we must develop a sense of empathy for fellow human beings, for all of us to emerge as a winner. We must not forget that during the peak wave of COVID-19, when most of us were feeling helpless, we saw selfless volunteers who arranged for life-saving equipment, hospital beds, etc., using simple messaging and communication apps like WhatsApp, Facebook, Telegram, Instagram, so on and so forth. It goes to show how empathy can empower all of us to achieve exponential outcome using technology. Sustainability is also a part of empathy. If we are not to be truly empathetic to our future generation, we will be conscious in our consumption and exploitation of environment and natural resources. I'm proud of the fact that Tata Group has these values enshrined in our code of conduct. Yesterday, 3rd March, we celebrated the visionary founder of Tata Group, Shri Jamshedji Nasarwanji Tata's 183rd birthday. We at TCS Ion also did a bit in providing TCS Ion Digital Classroom free to all, the solution free to continue routine classes in primary, secondary and higher education institution in the country while they can learn in home during this pandemic period. We converted our delivery centers across the COVID care centers with full medical support. Many of my colleagues turned into a full-time volunteers, even as ambulance drivers in some cases, because all of us, we knew that ambulance drivers were shortage in the second wave of COVID. Apart from empathy, I would also wish to bring about overcoming our cognitive bias, like over-dependence on information available in social media. A cognitive bias is a subconscious error in thinking that leads you to misinterpret information from the world around us and affects the rationality and accuracy of decision and judgments. You must be thinking why I'm talking about the cognitive bias. The reason I'm talking about these biases, and there are many of them, is because often we overlook facts, research, data, and merely go by conviction. All of us, we heard that information is power. And now information is available, the same information is available to everyone in one click of a button. But now, in new norm, effective use of information is actually a power. India is at the cusp of digital revolution in the education sector, and it is paramount that as government, as businesses, and as individuals, we take rational decisions. If we must be leaders in the new world order, then success will come through investment in high-end research, digitization, attention to data and insights, well laid out plans, policies, and adherence to these policies. Standing in the land of exquisite art and culture, that is Odisha, I do ponder often on the role of art and culture in the new world order. Art and culture has been proven to be soft power of our nation across the world. It is this soft power that world recognizes time and again and make us a heritage-rich nation. As I come to my end of my address, I reflect upon the words of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, where he once said of making India as a Vishwa Guru, I do dream of coming times when our future generation shall hail our country as the Vishwaguru in the new world order. Thank you and namaskar.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a huge round of applause for Shri Gopal Krishna GSS? That was absolutely insightful. Thank you very much, sir. So you spoke about some biases that one should be wary of when designing a product or strategy for government bodies or edtech companies. Why do you think those biases play such a critical role?
This one? Yeah. So when we started understanding that how the technology can give a effective in the education sector in the country almost a decade back. We have seen the various things, A, resistance from legacy to adoption of technology, B, the apprehension of the effectiveness of the technology. And these were happened basically when people have a notion about that, cloud may be the safe place for keeping the data. That is how these things which has happened, and that is how we understood that, these biases definitely is there because of the half or not correct informations which people have. Second thing in this aspect is where when this took a growth path, when the adoption of technology took a growth path in the country, at that time, lot of other technology players which has come and not doing a proper analysis and the data and the research, and they started using the technology in this space. And eventually what has happened is, in between, people have started having a different biases that how it is safe to use a technology here, whether my data is safe, my entire activities which I am doing day in, day out is going as per the required to the institutions. Definitely, yeah, I think they have to do more research, understanding more. And because future is technology, all of us we are aware, and undoubtedly that technology is going to play a big role. And then as business leaders, it's our responsibility to encourage and educate and give a right information at right time so that, people will not be afraid of using technology.
So well said. Well, TCS Ion is a provider of digital learning. What do you think the impact of pandemic is on the entire education sector?
Yeah, so pre-pandemic, a lot of apprehension was there using online learning, the adoption, the acceptance. The civil society used to say brick and mortar model. If I go to some institution, that is a better way of learning. But the pandemic actually last 24 months has given this boost to this entire idea. As far as in terms of business, definitely it has got affected, but in a positive way. And adoption has gone multifold. Acceptance has gone multifold. Initially, some hitches were there to understand. Confusions were there in the system. But eventually, people have understood. In fact, what we have done is, Odisha is one such state where I have given the teaching learning aid, that is a digital classroom, which is developed by TCS Ion, to all 341 primary schools, which we are given a free to use.
Congratulations for that. Well, the last question is definitely not from my side. It's from the side of parents, and they want to know if this digital platform is going to be the new normal, and will it take over and replace the physical classes someday?
So, I don't think so. We should worry about that. See, mobile phones are there, which I talked about the penetration rate. Is it really has actually stopped the interacting, talking face to face? Definitely not. It is actually a convenience way of getting in touch, getting information within seconds. Same, social media has not stopped us to meet. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this physical gathering. I would have sitting in Mumbai and I would have actually spoke to you, right, using this digital platform. So this only will enable, these digital platforms, digital learning tools will enable teachers and learners both in effective ways. The analytics which are going to give actually that, in a classroom of 100 students are there, now teacher will exactly know which student, how he or she is performing, in which area they require improvement, which area they are doing extremely good, which is the area, if they put a focus, they can actually go with innovative ideas and ways and means. Even for students, it will help them to get in touch with the mentors, teachers, their peers, 24/7, and they can clarify doubts, and those analytics also will be visible to students. It is the only way that, how we are going to analyze, look. But machine has a power, the data has a power to deflect back the facts and figures of the students and learners.
So I think the only caution is to be informed in the right way and take a progressive perspective.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, TCS ION, for all the success so far, and good luck for all your future ventures. May I request Srimati Jagimangat Panda to please join us on stage and present a small token of gratitude to Gopal sir. An absolute moment of pride and glory as we have Sri Gopal Krishna GSS with us. His inaugural keynote address will go a long way in reminding the students and the parents that digital definitely is the new way and the safe way. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
That was truly enlightening. Can we have another round of applause for this wonderful session?